My plan for this afternoon is to put the drum inside the barrel and fix the two pipes out of the bottom of it. One of them being the 15mm water pipe, half-inch water pipe. I think it probably actually is. And the other being the overflow, which is the 65mm downpipe. Now, I want to be able to remove the drum from inside the barrel should I ever need to at any time in the future. If I glue this to the bottom of the spigot that's coming out of the bottom of the drum, that's going to be a problem. So what I have decided to do is to actually cut some slots in this and then to put a Jubilee clip around it. It is, after all, only an overflow, so there will be absolutely no water pressure on it or anything, because the water will just come in here and run out there, what little water that will ever come through it. So I will do that bit, and then I will go and put it in the barrel and hopefully fix the pipes underneath. I have also decided that I need to put what you would call seismic restraints on the barrel, so that should we get a good sized earthquake, the whole lot doesn't all come crashing down off the stand that it's on. And so I will do that, but I want to do that discreetly, so I'll probably do that underneath where it won't be seen. But I'll make that up as I go along, as I often do. So I will carry on, and then I will show you the results a little further down the track. I needed to fit the copper pipe while the barrel was lying back, as it isn't accessible once the barrel is in place. The two bent pieces of copper tube, which were complete with crocks fittings, were ones that I had in my treasure trove. Originally, they were connections from two wingbacks in a wall to a set of taps on a hand basin. They were removed a number of years ago when I replaced the taps with a mixer that came with appropriate flexible hoses. It would have been easier to fit the overflow elbow before I stood the barrel up, but I wasn't exactly sure what angle I wanted it on until it was in place. You will see further on in the video that it all changed anyway, due to a little hiccup further on in the process. The barrel is in situ. I still need to fix it and all that, but I do have the drum inside. And I just picked up the top section, which is sitting here. That's going to be the bird bath. And I realised that, Houston, we have a problem. And that is that this timber has dried out so much that, in actual fact, if you look there, well, just there, see, you can actually see through it. You can see light behind it. Just if you follow this line, there you go, there it pops up there. And it's not just that one, all of them. So to start with, I'll try and remedy it by making the wood swell by taking the the bit of the drum that I cut off, I still have that. I can fill that with water, and then it's not going to be big enough. I need to think of a plan. Other than that, what I will do is I will use some dark coloured silicone and silicone these holes, these joins, because I think it's also going to be a problem at the edge. See how these have become loose with drying out? So need to think that through a little bit more and figure out a plan. But that's okay. We can do that. I'll come back to you on that one. Because of the bends that were already in this piece of copper, it took a bit of thought to make it work what I was trying to achieve. I worked it out eventually so that the water level indicator pipe was tucked in where I wanted it, and the tap was positioned so that it was accessible but not protruding to the point where it would be a problem. Here we are, another nice day. The weather is forecast to deteriorate a little later in the day, but we'll see whether they got that right or not. And so a quick recap on what I did yesterday with the drum and the barrel. And also I've done a couple of things this morning as well, so I'll just cover that off as well. So when I was doing this yesterday, I was going to put a saddle down around here, and then I thought, wait a minute, I have in the shed a whole bag of brass, what they're called standoffs. So in other words, there's a piece that screws to the whatever you're fixing it to, and then this little fellow that clamps around the pipe. This is obviously a much better arrangement because it holds the pipe where it's going to come under stress with the tap being turned on and off, and so that's all good. The other thing I've done here is that this little upstand here, I've put some water in the drum, which is why that's coming out there. On here is where the plastic level indicator tube is going to go, so I'll just fit that over there, and I have some little fittings that you actually slip over here first, put the plastic over, and then you wind it back up over that and it fixes it in place. So that's done. The overflow is here. I will need to, I'm not sure yet whether I will purchase 2 more of the elbows to go down here and then down here, or whether I'll just do one and let it run down here. I'll figure that out. And this morning I have glued in the overflow pipe, so the upstand should I say, so that is done, and I put some water in the bottom of the drum here, just to make sure that, or reconfirm that none of this is leaking, which it's not. Here we are at the end of another day, and today I removed the barrel from its position. I have completely re-oiled all of the shed, and it looks much better for having a fresh coat of Harlem Danish oil, which is what I did it with originally, but that is now in excess of 16 months ago, and it was overdue. So it's good to have that done. And I also removed all of the frame that the barrel fits on. took to it with the water blaster. Once it had dried, I have now stained it with the dark charcoal stain. So tomorrow, hopefully, I can put all of that back together. And I have decided that with respect to the bird bath that's going to go in the top, I'm actually going to clean up all the inside of that and then give it a coat of a rubberized compound type stuff. I think that's going to be the best solution to the issue of it separating, because then it won't matter if it does swell again, which it will a little bit because of the moisture coming up from underneath from the drum, but I doubt that it will completely close up. Anyway, that's I'll line up for tomorrow, and there's always more to do. Okay, bye for now. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. My plan for this afternoon is to try and get the let's try that again. It is another bright and shiny morning, and mostly this morning I've been getting the barrel into place, which I have now done, and I have cut these all back and put a piece of timber across there. That's now permanent. I did make life difficult for myself in that I should have made this a bit longer and put it on an angle, because I found that I couldn't get my pipe in between there. So I've cranked it round on an angle, and I've had to cut a chunk out of this board to get it to fit. However, it's all in there now, and there you can see the water level tube there going up the side of the barrel. And then once the pump arrives, which I have now ordered, and I know how big a tube I'm going to run out and things like that, I will either make a hole through here somewhere around the back for that to come out. The electrical cable for the pump, I think I can feed it down there out through that hole, provided that hole is big enough for the plug. Again, I won't know that until it arrives. If that's not going to work, then I'll make another plan. Probably what I will do is I will groove this out here, just make a channel down through here, because the bird bath sits inside that, so there would be enough gap to get a cable through there. We will wait and see when it arrives. I've really gone as far as I can. I still haven't done the seismic restraint on this yet. In the end, I'm just going to have to do it externally down here. I did ponder on that for quite a while, but there's not really anything else that's going to actually do the job. The issue is that, you know, I have a 200 litre drum in here, but it probably only, now it's probably only going to have about 160 litres or something in it. But 160 litres is 160 kilograms, and when the earth moves and that starts slopping around, there's a reasonable amount of force involved, so it does need to be tied down. It's not, I'm not expecting that particularly that's going to hurt anybody or anything like that. It's just a mess that I could do without. Okay, so that's it for now. I'll come back to you sometime in the future. Bye. Good afternoon. It has just started to rain a wee bit outside, which is fine because I have an inside job to do, and that is to clean the inside of the bird bath. Now when I say clean, I'm going to attack it with a flapper disc and the disc grinder. At least initially, I may need to use the wire brush just in the crevices. And down in here, we will see. And then, hence the overalls, because it's going to be a dusty exercise. And then once I have done that, I have this product. That I'm going to paint on the inside of the bird bath. And I'm hoping that that will seal it up and solve the issue that I have with it. So we'll see how we go. The flapper disc did a good job of removing the wine residue and giving the timber a suitable surface so that the compound would key onto it well. Having the easily adjustable guard on the DeWalt grinder is a really useful thing in jobs like this, as I needed to keep rotating it. As I previously mentioned, the wire wheel was the best for getting down into the crevice around the edge. Dust, grinder grit, welding residue and sawdust are a constant issue in my workshop, so I try to use the shop vac as much as possible to collect the contaminants at source. Some of my older electric power tools don't have a suitable spigot to attach the vacuum hose to, so it's only ever partially successful. I do have an inline fan to be used as an extract for the workshop sitting on the shelf, but that project is superseded in priority by a number of others. We'll get round to it one day. Let's try that again. So that was reasonably straightforward. So now I will apply the rubber compound and we'll see where it goes from there. Certainly smells like rubber. This compound is very viscous and sticky, as you can probably tell. It goes on easily enough, but I don't think that you could use it where you wanted a smooth surface. You may be able to if you thinned it down and did multiple coats over several days. For what I'm trying to achieve, it seems to be ideal. Time, however, will be the ultimate judge of that, with it being outside in the sun. I knew I was going to apply another coat the next day, so I just put the brush in a tin with some water in it to preserve it overnight. Now that might look like a brown, gooey, sticky mess. That's because it is a brown, gooey, sticky mess. I will leave that to harden, if that's the right word, seeing it's supposed to stay rubbery and elastic, but you understand what I mean. And then I will go over it again with a second coat, particularly on the sides, because there are some quite big gaps between the boards. I've tried to poke it into the gaps to try and bridge that. Don't know how successful that has been. I may need to put the bird bath on its side slightly when I do the next coat, just to try and get gravity to pull some of that stuff in there a bit better. But that is that for now. I don't imagine I'll be able to do anything with it until tomorrow. And now I've just got brown sticky stuff all over my hand accidentally. Alright, enough for today. Well, enough of this for today. See you later. This is the end of this video. The next one will be the completion of the bird bath, and then I will move on to the fence above the retaining wall. Things are progressing on multiple fronts, and so that's good, and hopefully I can get a few of these things ticked off before Christmas arrives, because there'll be obviously a bit of a lull during that period, which will be nice. Lots of family around. So that's it for today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.